Alert, alert, this is a Doomcock News alert. Alert, alert, this is a Doomcock News alert.
Greetings, my friends. Doomcock here with more breaking news of the abomination known as STD. On the eve of Star Trek Discovery Season 2 premiere, my thoughts wander, as they will, to the imminent collapse of Paramount and the pending failure of CBS All Access. Tonight, CBS and Bad Reboot are absolutely desperate for STD to succeed. Not wishful, not hopeful, not fingers crossed, but desperate in the way that a family in a crashed plane huddling together in the Himalayan snow is desperate for the sight of a rescue party because they're only one day away from starving and Grandma is starting to look like beef jerky. And that's not how they want to remember the old bag. But if a Sherpa bearing a sled filled with supplies doesn't clear the ridge soon, Grandma will be remembered as a wonderful woman who collected stamps, was stringy and tough, and needed a little salt. That's where Paramount is right now, and where CBS will be if STD proves to be the bomb everyone anticipates it to be. That ticking sound STD is making might well be the pacemaker they put in it, sure, just to keep its heart beating. But just in case, break out the sandbags and duck. Tonight is not going to be pretty. As I predicted in my last video updating you on the panic CBS and Bad Reboot are feeling, these past few days have seen a stunning, full-court press of propaganda, phony pro-STD articles, and ginned-up enthusiasm on social media by paid shills. An article appeared in TV Guide that was so painfully, blatantly, obviously a plant by CBS, their corporate masters. It set a new standard for fake news, the journalistic equivalent of fellatio, the kind of article that after you've written it, you just have to spit. Entitled, Star Trek Discovery Season 2 is the best the show has ever been, this bought and paid for advertisement is enough to trigger the gag reflex in any English-speaking human with any sense of the meaning of shame. That title is deliberately ambiguous. Do they mean it's better than Season 1 of STD? Or is it the bestest Star Trek ever? This is deliberate. TV Guide may be shills, but they do speak English. They do know how to use it. This so-called article or review or propaganda then proceeds to get every single fact about Star Trek Discovery wrong. I won't read this aloud, as it would surely make your ears bleed, but here are a few choice snippets. Although Season 1 stumbled in its efforts to remain tightly within canon, while also telling an exciting new story, the show managed to pull off a commendable first run thanks to a charming bridge crew. If they're so goddamn charming, how come we can't name any one of them? A delectably villainous leader in Captain Lorca, Freudian slip, and that unapologetic love of science and adventure which has come to define the franchise as a whole. Yes, that unapologetic love of science that includes sonar in space. I guess an unapologetic love of science means never having to say you're sorry for being an inept fuck that doesn't know that sonar doesn't work in space. Oh, dear God. Let's see what else we can find. What other choice things can we pick here? This is a theme that they keep putting in all their shill articles. It says, with the Klingon War on the back burner, the series is finally able to breathe, and as a result delivers a refreshing sophomore run that just feels like the weight of the world has been lifted off its shoulders. Yeah, with Starfleet decimated, millions of deaths, thousands of dead personnel from Starfleet, and lost ships in the war, and yet everything's just right as rain. Because now, see, we're going to joke around just like the Orville, and that's code also in this article and in all the other shill articles that are coming around. This is just painful. Dig this, gang. Only beside the wooden, stoic, and repulsive Mikey Spock, could Anson Mount's Pike be seen as charming. However, this is what they say about bringing in Pike. Pike is seamlessly woven into the narrative, bringing exhilarating new energy that never overpowers the series' core cast. Mount's Pike is dashing, charismatic, and genuinely likable, but not without his faults. He's very much the man Gene Roddenberry envisioned so many decades ago, but never feels like a relic of the past. He's exactly what Discovery, both the crew and the series as a whole, needs right now. But he's also just a fraction of what makes Season 2 such an enjoyable experience. They use such adjectives as brilliant, funny, and bursting with nerdy optimism. This is a shameless, horrendous article. After reading this, I tweeted, "Looks like TV Guide bent over for CBS and surrendered its last shred of dignity. Next for TV Guide, donkey shows in Tijuana." But then, lo and behold, I quickly received a tweet that contained this screen cap that explained everything. Yes, my friends, TV Guide is, surprise, 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 owned by CBS. So basically, this article is the equivalent of a vintage 70s hostage video, the equivalent of a home movie from Dad, posted from Vietnam by way of the Hanoi Hilton. TV Guide is a wholly owned shill for CBS now, just like comicbook.com, which, coincidentally, published this glowing review of STD Season 2, STD Season 2 Premiere Review, More Confident, More Adventurous, by Jamie Lovett. It's hilarious to read this love letter to a show that handed out STDs last year like a typhoid Mary Sue. Once again, a planted, glowing review, only unlike the more recent TV Guide article, this article on comicbook.com half-heartedly attempts to cloak its shillery in a few tepid criticisms of the show. Here are just a few examples. After making a claim such as, "Kurtzman delivers on the excitement here as brother," this episode's title features the most stunning action sequence ever in an episode of a Star Trek television series. The episode excels by also providing the character moments and sci-fi problem solving that seem to take a backseat in the films. But then it goes on to try to hide behind the mask of objectivity. It says the episode does stumble in a few places, never enough to fall down, but enough to be distracting at times. The episode is lighter and friendlier than the first season, yet everyone seems okay with dunking on Lieutenant Connolly. The Enterprise's science officer is also the butt of the elevator joke from this season's trailer. It's a bit that feels like it would be more at home on the Orville. As it is, it feels like a moment where Discovery tried a bit too hard to prove its new lighter tone. So, in this alleged criticism, the writer is saying that this season is lighter and friendlier, that it is funny, and that it feels like the Orville, couched in criticism. Yes, well, what else could you expect from comicbook.com? As you can see, though CBS owns both websites, this article is pretending to be objective with a few modest criticisms of the show, while TV Guide unabashedly raves about it. This is not surprising. CBS and Bad Reboot were not quite as desperate on January 7th as they are now 10 days later. What has changed? Plenty. Doomcock has received more behind-the-scenes information that makes it clear just how precarious things are not only for CBS and Bad Reboot, but Paramount as well. An article in Variety appeared on January 15th documenting the upheaval at Viacom with the headline, "Viacom lays off Paramount Network staffers amid reorganization." In this article, Joe Otterson lays out just how bad things are going for Viacom and Paramount. The layoffs come fewer than 3 months after Viacom reorganized its entertainment group. Longtime Viacom executive Kevin Kay, who oversaw Paramount Network, TV Land, and CMT, exited the company after 2 decades in October. The move came as part of a larger restructuring of Viacom's cable brands under the direction of CEO Bob Bakish. And so here it is. Confirmation of the news Doomcock has reported these past few weeks. Paramount is in dire straits. Not only has Viacom done a complete reorganization of its entertainment holdings, but now there are layoffs at Paramount specifically. What does this mean? My source informs me these actions signal impending disaster for Paramount, just as Doomcock previously reported. According to my source, a merger between Viacom and CBS is now inevitable. It is absolutely necessary for Paramount to survive at all. And if this STD news Doomcock is about to report is accurate, the survival of CBS All Access and the fiscal health of CBS in general may be precarious as well. Apparently, these layoffs are a symptom of a larger operation to keep Paramount solvent prior to a rescue merger in June. Shari Redstone, absent Les Moonvez's pernicious influence, is using these crises to accelerate her plans to reunify the two corporations. And while this is potentially very good news for Star Trek, since Redstone has seen the horrific numbers and reportedly despises Kurtzman and STD, clearly seeing both for the failures that they are, this is horrible news for Bad Reboot. They are almost certain now to lose their Star Trek license. Kurtzman's secret hideout is in danger of being shoved out the Star Trek airlock, and that's why we're seeing all these desperate cries for attention as CBS tries to sell people an infection one normally takes penicillin to cure. How bad are things for STD? The truth is out there, and it will make you chortle with glee. Here is some information that has come from my source, and again I must issue the disclaimer that this information must be considered rumor, although in general my source has repeatedly been proven to be solid. My source reported to me yesterday that the CBS All Access feedback page either crashed or was taken offline yesterday due to large levels of negative Trek comments. Indeed, it was basically near 98% negative comments in the feedback. This is reinforced by the fact that on CBS's official trailer for Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, viewers who wished to leave a comment were confronted with this message. According to my source, CBS is flat out in crisis at this moment. The signups for CBS All Access are far lower than even their diminished expectations, and those signups may only be due to some football packages CBS is offering. Essentially, CBS has had negative growth since STD Season 1 drove people away, and they ain't coming back again no more. Like Shane. If Shane was infected with an STD, had given it to the dog instead of a bullet, and had changed his name to Shame. It is reported that unless STD does blockbuster numbers this season, it will not be returning. That's code for Star Trek Discovery is canceled. Just as I reported months ago, since no one on this earth other than Kurtzman thinks STD is going to garner even average ratings. No possible way. So what does this mean for all the other series announcements that Kurtzman has been flooding the media with these past few weeks? Ersatz, Bupkis, fake news. Both animated series, the Giorgio Section 31 series, all in development, which is code for will never happen. Indeed, the fakest of the fake news seems to be, surprise, surprise, the Picard series. Because get this, kids, my source is reporting the rumor that the Picard series has yet to receive even one budgeted payment. I repeat, this alleged Picard series has yet to be paid even one budgeted installment. Apparently, they started doing the pre-production work via money siphoned off of the already anemic short Trek budget. There are questions even now as to whether they will actually budget the Picard show and move forward, and that depends on how STD does tonight. Oh, pack your bags, CBS All Access. Time to ride the rails with your bindle and your chewed up cigar. You're off to the Big Rock Candy Mountain now. And as you hop on the train out of town, Doomcock will be there to give you a loving boost up into the boxcar with a swift kick in your ass. I wonder if there's any shoe shine that kills STDs. Ah well, even if my foot turns green, it will all have been worth it. My friends, tonight STD Season 2, premieres. I am boycotting CBS, but thankfully I have access to the show via a friend, and I will be reviewing the show tomorrow in a formal review joined by Harvey Cthulhu, just as I reviewed the early episodes of Season 1 in my classic, original format. In addition, I will be holding a live stream to discuss this first episode Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join me live as I dissect this abomination organ by organ, horrific affront to humanity, or worst atrocity ever. Join me Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to find out, and let's discuss this sad and sorry affair. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry, and remember, without respect, we reject.
Ha 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 ha.